Good afternoon, Teens for Hire. I am Charlie, and today I want to address this massive roller coaster of good and bad conduct that's been going on in the groups this week. We have noticed, and especially in the last couple of days, some of the best locals that have been posting jobs, teens that have been applying for the jobs. The interviews have gone, very, very well. Like the whole process went through amazing. At the same time, we have some locals and parents that think this is the typical T group or the moms group where they come in and rant and rave and cause all kinds of drama. And none of that is welcome. We have seen some of the worst posts and that will never get approved anywhere, and you guys rant and rave about it. So I'm going to address it all. I'm going to put it all out there. Matter of fact, I have put all of my admins on timeout, because I'm going to take you through group by group, and I'm going to show you what's going on live. Like, I don't care if I embarrass people at this point. You guys have been embarrassing yourselves for a while. Now it's time to put everything on the table. I'm going to show you guys the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're going to go through, and I'm going to explain it all. So without further ado, I am going to start with a lady that submitted a post. And her post was fine except for one detail. She posted her address. And you guys may think that that's not a big deal, but it very much is. There are people, there are criminals that literally watch these groups just looking for targets, places they can steal and stuff like that. And she posted her address. So we caught it and we took the post out. And it's like, hey, you need messages. She didn't know how to message the page. I'm like, look at roll one or look on any template at roll one. Well, apparently she had to Google it to figure out how to message the page. And so I sent her a screenshot. I'm like, just look at the template. And then the very first one says, here's how you message the page. 5-10 seconds of reading could have solved her a whole bunch of headaches, but that's okay. So I sent her a screenshot. Here's where you can find it. No big deal. When I explained what happened or why we took her post out and showed it to her, as you guys can see here, I'm going to scroll just a hair. There you go. When you talk about your post, why it's taken down, it's the where. I'm sure you're aware that the communities have their fair share of adults who have to lie, cheat, and steal. And I put a big capital S on steal. This is why we use general locations instead of specific locations. So we're on this street behind the Kroger, or we're behind the Fred Meyer, or we're behind Cars, or behind Planet Fitness, or put something relative so the kids know if they got to walk or drive. That's the main thing. Is this a job you got to drive to or can they walk to? That's all they need to know at this point. When you hire a team, that you interview them, you say you're hired, then in private message, which the team will message you first, then you say, all right, my address is this. Now, at the same time, that team can go through and say, sorry, I can't take the job, it's too far away. That's fine. That's perfect. Okay. But at least your address is to one person, not 3,000. This is the reason why we take it down. We're not doing it to hurt you. We're doing it to protect you. And luckily for us, Natasha saw that. She's like, oh, definitely, good looking out. I will do that in the future. And it's like, well, people complain about the rules, but now you see why. And I love this line right here. A group like this needs strict rules. I completely understand why they're there. That's obviously my fault for not being thorough. I'll be sure to reread the rules before I post next time. Thanks for all you do. And then I'll tell her, like, if you have questions or need help, just ask. Why people are there's this taboo about asking for help. And society's wrong about this. And this is one thing we tackle a lot. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to take 5 minutes and ask for directions, ask for help, ask for assistance, ask anything. We're here to help you. Use us. It's okay. I promise. Don't have to apologize for, I'm sorry I'm bothering you. You're not bothering us. We're here for that. It's okay. Send the message. And that's where this conversation was. And so now I know that, going forward, Natasha, if she needs help, she knows that it's okay to ask us for help. We've got her back. Looking here at Lisa. her son wanted to post a job about mowing yards, and she wanted to clarify something. And what it was um, when a job is posted and someone comments that they're interested in having a mow. So he's got a team post or team's business. Someone wants to hire him. She asked, and then they say, I'll send you a private message. Or my son then replied, I'll send you a private message. Is that the correct way, or should the adult send it? Always, 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 the teen sends the message. And I broke this down for it. I'm going to let you guys go through this with me. If adults message teens, Facebook, so people that run the social media, they consider them targeting minors. Well, use your imagination. There's lots of criminal activity out there, and I'm not going to go through that list with you guys. If the teen messages first, the teen is giving consent to the adult that's okay and is someone they want to talk to. And hopefully, the parent gives consent as well. We ask the parents to be involved, but sometimes they can't or won't. But at least from the teen's perspective, they have given permission. That's the reason why that rule exists. If the adult sends the message, you could be committing illegal acts. We don't know that. They don't know that. Facebook can't distinguish that. So it always, always, always has to come from the teens. Adults, forget the words private message me, or I'll private message you. You won't do anything. The teen will message you. You can say, all right, I want to hire you. Can you message me? You're there to receive the message. Always. And so she went through, perfect. He's 15, but double checks with me before every message. Yes. I love this kid. He's not playing the I know better card or nothing like that. He's eager to learn. He's asking lots of questions. Excellent. This kid is going to learn so much and become an amazing value or asset to the community. She's like, it's a tad overwhelming, but you're raising kids. We're helping with kids. Of course it's going to be overwhelming. And that's why I thought that's where Rule 1 comes from. He can message us too. That's right there. It says message the page. You're going to get all of us adults, and he's messaging us. He's initiating the contact. I need assistance. I need help. What you got, buddy? And we help him. So she's not alone. You guys are not alone. You have a whole team here to help you. Stop attacking the team that helps you. Stop trying to bite the hand that feeds. But she didn't. She used the system right. She asked questions, and she protected her kid. And that's what we're all here for. Safety first, money second. Or third, actually. Safety first, knowledge and experience second, money third. Money always comes last. It's easy to make money in this stuff. But learn how to do it safely and correctly. That's what's more important. Having said those messages, now I'm going to go into some examples in the groups. And I want to start with, let's go to the Anchorage group. And I'm going to come down here to Darcy. Where's Darcy? Darcy. Right. Where'd you go, Darcy? That was Sue and Darcy. Okay. So Darcy made a post that she needed help with a house move, and it was off of Turpin. Turpin's decently sized. There's plenty of places it can be, but at least people know to go to Turpin, and it's going to be in that vicinity. So are you walking to Turpin? Are you driving to Turpin? It's a relative location. But the win was, precise enough on information. How many teens? At least 2. Means there's more for more. How much? It's above minimum wage, so it's legal. Getting paid upon completion. That's excellent. Venmo or cash. That means there's only 2 methods of payments. So don't come in here saying you got Zelle or Cash App, because she's not going to deal with it. And plenty of extra details to inform the teens of what to expect. Now, as we go into the comments, I'm going to sort this to all. So everything be seen. And here we go. So I'm not going to try to pronounce that name. Someone would like to apply for their daughter, has lots of experience in lifting and stuff like that. But, I guess Darcy saw something she didn't care for. So she moved to the next one. I'd like to apply for this as I have a truck. Okay. Thank you for your response. If hired, what is your availability? How much notice do you need? Have you had any injuries? These are all questions that are relevant to a job application for this job. You treat every single one of these as like a real job. And so this is what she needed to know, stuff that's relevant there. But Kevin never responded. So she moved to the next one. Here. Angel, with her son Isaiah, and all Angel did was say, Isaiah, come have a seat. I'm going to supervise. You're going to use my account, and you're going to apply for this job. So this is Isaiah talking. This is amazing. I love this. This is what we've been talking about for years. You can supervise. You don't have to have your hands on the keyboard. Let the kid do it. They need to learn. They need to practice. They need the experience. Isaiah gained so much from this one experience right here, more than the job paid. He gained the experience of how to properly apply for a job in today's society. And I'm telling you now, if he goes into an interview and he uses this kind of language, he's going to probably get the job. She's setting him up for success, and I love it. And I'm just going to scroll back here for that way you guys can actually read it. I would like to apply for this job. I am confident I can be of help. I've had many moving jobs, and I'm capable of heavy lifting and work efficiency. And yes, he's young. And when you go to apply for an actual job like Indeed or something like that, you're going to use more detailed words and stuff like that. But this is Teens for Hire. This is where you learn the basics. And this is great basic conversation right here. Darcy followed up. Here's my questions. If hired, do you have a way to get here? Do you have any injuries? Do you have a problem moving furniture? But then she followed up again with, do you have any questions for me? She left that opening for Isaiah to practice back and forth conversation. And he's like, he addressed everything right there. Yes, I do have a ride. No, I don't have any injuries. And lastly, I'll be able to take care of the furniture. Now, he could have asked questions, but he chose not to. That's his right. But at least the opening was there. And this is just from inexperience. So with more experience, he's going to have questions he's going to return back with. And especially when you get into the actual interview process with a job. But she gave him that opportunity, which is amazing. That is great. We would love to hire you for this job. She's hiring him. She's notifying him. She's notifying us. I, Darcy, want to hire Isaiah. Everything's on the table. And then she says, please message me for the address. Not I'm messaging you, she's messaging me. She's telling him, if you want the job, you got it. All you got to do is contact me. And that's what happened. Thank you for hiring me. I'll be in touch. Perfect. It couldn't have gone any better. That is the single greatest application I've ever seen in the whole time we've done Teens for Hire. But look right here. Look at Aiden. Around what time? That's not letting us know why she should pick you. This is something for the questions. Do you have any questions for me? Yes. Around what time? Even though it says from 4 to 6 hours and potentially 11. That's a question for once you're hired or in the interview. You ask that. You don't just start with that. See, he skipped everything and just jumped right into this. And so she said, we're starting about 10, but look, there's no interview process there. There's no, I'm interested, you're hired, nothing. So he didn't get the job because he skipped half the steps. Isaiah got it because he did it right. This is an amazing, amazing one. I love this. And we've been seeing a lot of these kind of things lately. So if I go back here to Sue. Sue posted a job. I need at least 2 teens, $20 an hour, paying upon completion. And here's a very important detail. Please wear old clothes because you're going to be helping clean and organize a garage. You're going to get dirty. So don't come in wearing flip-flops and decorated nails and stuff like that. And trust me, you'd be surprised some of the outfits we've seen kids show up in. My personal favorite is one that's going to shovel snow and they show up in Crocs. Yes, it's happened. Micah. Micah is one of my favorite kids on the planet. I love Micah to death. She's always kind of been one of my go-tos of if something falls apart, I can count on Micah to take care of business. And here she is just taking care of business, demonstrating how to do things right. I would like to apply. My name's Micah. I'm 18. I have experiences with all this, including cleaning out garages. She took the original job and put it back into her reply. And that's the big thing when you're applying for a job. So, like, say if you're getting a job as a construction worker and they say you're going to be dealing with heavy machinery, your reply should have something about construction and heavy machinery. That's like any software out there that they're going to put applications and resumes into, they're going to screen for stuff like that. They're called keywords or meta words. It depends on which versions of software you have. But there's certain keywords out there. And what they're doing is they're just looking for, did you take the job and bring it into your conversation? And if you're not talking about cleaning out garages, it will automatically flag you out. You may have the greatest resume in the world, the greatest application in the world, but because you didn't use the words cleaning out garages or working with heavy machinery in my example, you're denied. But she brought this up. This is amazing. I love this. And this is where her experience, she's probably went into the world, applied for jobs, and learned that the hard way. If you don't put those words in there, you're not going to get the job. So that's why she's got this habit now of every time she applies for a job, she's like looking to see what they're asking for and bring it back into the first comment. Great practice. And that's what you should be doing all the time. I work as a custodian. I have good attention to detail, which if you clean a garage, that's number one. If you're dealing with teens for hire, that's number one. My only downside is I don't have anyone to bring with me. Okay, she's working alone. I'm available at this time and I work at this time. So she's letting them know, hey, this is my schedule. That's not sensitive information. That is great information. Let the local know. That way, if they want to hire her, you got to work around her schedule. And that's their choice. And so, right here, consider yourself hired. She didn't have to ask any questions. She had all the information she needs. She just consider yourself hired. Please message me for my address. I'll make sure you're done by 2. My garage is dirty. So you need time to shower if you go. So Sue's being considerate. She's not using the kids like slave labor. She's like, I have a resource here that as long as I take care of it, it's going to take care of me. And that's amazing. And it's right here. Thanks for hiring me. I just sent you a message. Can't wait to work for you. Perfect. Even like when you get hired or you don't get hired in a job, you always, send an email, send a message, whatever. Thank you for the opportunity. They remember those things. It has happened where people have not gotten a job. And because they sent that one extra step afterwards of thanking them or something like that, if somebody actually has a heart, a lot of society doesn't, but some do, they will go back to your resume, pull it, and say, because you put in that one extra step of effort, to hire them. It doesn't hurt. It only helps you. And that's a great demonstration right there. And that's what we said, awesome communication. And see, look right here. I'm applying for my foster daughter. And see, the thing is Alicia could have let the daughter do this. She's 16 years old. It's right there. She's 16 years old. The daughter could have sat down with Alicia right there beside her and coached her, managed her, guided her. But Alicia did it all for herself. So we don't know was the kid actually interested or is just Alicia pushing? Because we have actually seen parents that have applied for jobs for their kids, drove their kids out there, made them do the work, and the kids wanted nothing to do with it. And it gets to the point where it's slave labor to where we got to kick the parent out to stop this kid from being abused. It's happened. So that's the reason why we want the kid. We want to have the kids use their words and practice. That way it protects them. So that way we know if there's something wrong, we can intervene and say, hey, no, this is not a good fit. But look, all the details are here. Please message me. Thank you so much. Message sent. See? You send me a message sent. So we know that communication's happened. We don't have to do anything anymore. Our hands are off. This was a great one as well. So that was Anchorage. And so now let's flip over to Matsu. Matsu had one issue, and I want to use this for a great example. It's right here with Brian. And Brian had a job where he's looking to hire, win ASAP, $20 per hour per teen, cleaning up rocks, sticks, and trash in the front yard and possibly backyard, depending on time. Might require some digging.
So this is going to be a manual labor job, but he put great details. Like, should take approximately 1 to 3 hours. I will supply shovels or any tools needed. You need to provide gloves if you want them. See, I'll provide this. You bring this. Great details. The point of all these job posts, especially these templates, is to remove questions. Everything's here. So that way, if you're asking questions, it's something not covered in the basics. And I'm going to get to that in a second. But we had a small little problem, but we addressed it. Oh, come on. Really? Let's refresh it. Gotta love Facebook, and it's not so infinite wisdom. Where did he delete it? I hope not. Oh, he just broke one rule right there, which we absolutely despise, which is deleting a job post. You know, this is when you delete a job post, this is kids' resumes you're basically doing. You know, they're going to come back and say, I did this job, this job, this job, this job. And so when you delete them, kids don't have these for experience. Locals can't go research these jobs and see how the kids did. Don't delete anything. And that's actually one of the rules. You know, if you go into the template, because we've posted this 1,000 times over, right there, number 2, delete nothing. Not even this job when it's completed. What did he do? He deleted it, which means he did not read the disclaimers. Why you guys won't read this stuff, I have no idea. It's all black and white. Like, look, you don't have to. We're telling you to do nothing. We're telling you to be lazy, and you guys still do it. How to message the page, right there. It's even got a link. And you guys still not doing it. The only rules that are like actually here. Look, 3, 4, and 5. 3 rules on this that are actually something to do. That actually involve action. And we get it's too much. If 3 is too much, please don't have kids, like ever. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, if you think 3 is too much, whoo, yeah. And then number 6 is see the group rules for anything else. You know, come over here from About Me to learn more, and you scroll down. There's all the rules, which a lot of those are just information, but some are actual rules. But beyond that, when in doubt, or go back to number 1. When in doubt, message the page. Talk to us. You know, communication. So, sorry I couldn't show you guys Brian's example because he deleted it, but what the example was is he had a great posting. He went through the interview process, and then he said, I will text you. No! First of all, you don't initiate the conversation, the private messaging, stuff like that. You don't know. You're the adult. You just ask them to message you. But second, do not post phone numbers on here. Anywhere. You know, unless there's only one exception. And that is when you cross over from the locals and teens and you get to teen business and business. When you become dealing with actual business stuff, then you put your phone number out there. Basically, at that point, we kind of go back, you know, less hands-on because the kids have basically proven that they can manage and handle their business. If you're making a teen template, we're helping you, we're guiding you, we're coaching you, we're teaching you these things to get you to these levels because maybe you do want to go self-employed. And if you do go self-employed, you're going to become a business. Everybody's going to contact you. But there's a lot of stuff to learn before you get from I'm just a kid to now I'm a business owner. This is where you do that. And how to manage your contacts is one thing. I had one kid, I kid you not, he went through every single communication method you could think of and he had to post it. Call, text, email, LinkedIn, MySpace, anything. It was all like there was like 4 lines worth of stuff. I'm like, dude, nobody's gonna use all that. Delete all of that. Pick 2, 3 tops. You know, phone for calls or texts, Facebook because that's how you're on here, and then maybe one more. You know, email. Keep it simple. And that was a lesson he had to learn.
And it changed a lot of his job postings. But you're the adult. You're not texting anybody. They text you. But at the same time, that's something you're hired. Please private message me. And then you share your phone number. Because you don't want everybody in the community, thousands and thousands of people, to have access to your phone number. That's how you get scammed. That's how you get hacked. That's how you get manipulated. Quit setting yourself up to be a target. Why would you put your phone number publicly for the internet if you're not wanting to do business? There's no other reason to. Keep it to business. Otherwise, stay in the locals and teen side and keep your phone number to yourself until it's time for private messaging. Let's see. That was addressing Brian. Yeah, because I wish, because Brian had so much in here. He really did. All right, let me see if there's even one more, because I had another name here. And that might have been on Brian's thread. We've had enough good ones, so let me address some of the stuff that you just don't do. Let's call these the bad examples. And since we're in the Math Suit group, we're going to go to right here, where our admin, Louise, said, teens, where are you? Locals need assistance. It's time to earn some money and skills. Now the school's about out. Okay, we're in that graduation period between now and the next 2 weeks. It's going to be all graduation, high school getting out. Don't wait for the last minute to get your stuff out there. Start working on your teens posts and your teen business posts. Get them posted. You can say, I'm starting taking jobs on May 25th, for example. And so you can just get people to start talking so you can get stuff scheduled. You can do that now. You don't have to start taking a job tomorrow. You just start getting that out there. Or you need to post like, I want to work on my advertising. So like, hey, message the page. What do you guys think? Is there something wrong with this? Take that next 2 weeks and get your stuff figured out. That way when it's come time to go live, whether you're pushing it now or you're pushing 2 weeks, you can. We had one job in Anchorage that was, that just the teens that was available didn't have the tools to do the job. And it was something completely avoidable. Now, I messaged a couple of kids and they just never heard back from them because, right now they're so tied up in school. But it could have been something scheduled, ahead of time. Using your words, using your communication, be available. Drink water. But anyways, on this post, that should have been about it. This is where apparently everybody thinks this is the T-Spill group. Too much of a hassle to post here. We just went over. How do you properly make a post? And I've done this in other videos. So if you go into here and you pick, any group, doesn't matter, pick a template. Like for example, there's the locals template. All you gotta do is press and hold one time to copy. And it says right there at the bottom. Teen copy or text copy to clipboard. You guys invent so many ways to copy, it's unreal. And on top of that, when you go to make a post, you go to write something. Here's where you create a post. And press and hold. Come on. I'm not doing this by error. And when you do that, it brings up right there. Paste. Press paste. And look right there. One finger. Press, hold, press, hold, press, hold. You guys learn this, and I'm telling you, it's going to make your guys' jobs easier. You guys will throw it in the Apple tools and throw some flowers on there and stop doing that. And we're going to show some examples here because, trust me, they are lovely. But too much of a hassle. And Louise is right. It's not hard to copy and paste from that. They've been teaching copy and paste for what? 25, 30 years and people still don't know how to copy and paste? Come on. But look right here. I've used this group in previous years, posted this week, had to jump through hoops interviewing the kids who have already worked for me in the previous years. That's even better. The fact that you've got experience with them, make them practice, make them keep applying to you. Because the thing is, when you get out there in the real world, you're going to have places like Fred Meyer, Cars, whatever, that people get fired or quit and they come back. Do you think they just hand them the jobs like, oh, you're a previous employee, you're good to go? No, they make them reapply. They make them re-interview. And they may go in there and say, all right, nothing's changed, you're good to go. But they still make them go through that process. This is just like real world. You're an employer. They're a future employee. You don't know what happens, say, from the time that you let or that they stop working for you to the next time they try to hire them. Maybe they got in trouble with the law. Maybe they, you don't know. You have no idea what happened with that kid. You're going off assumptions. So you always re-interview. Treat every job posting like it's a new job, and every kid like they're reapplying again. Keep it new constantly. And right here, Ingan said, please don't hesitate to reach out and message if you have any concerns or assistance. That's why we help you. And he's right. If you're having problems with the whole jumping through hoops, come talk to me. I'll explain this to you. And that's why, what's her name? Natasha said it best. The group needs strict rules because that's the only way kids are going to learn. And apparently that's how locals are going to learn too. I feel the same and I express my feelings. Your feelings don't need to be here. The kids don't need to see this. The kids need to be seeing stuff related to jobs and stuff like that. This has nothing to do with jobs. If you want to talk about your feelings, message the page. We'll gladly talk to you about them. April. Now, this is May 15th, okay? I did a search on April Olsen. She posted 9 days prior. 9 days, May 6th. And here she is making complaints, but waited 9 days to address it. If you got a problem, bring it to us then. Don't wait a week and a half. It literally invalidates your complaints. Because let's say if you would have put a post up and actually gotten teens interested, and we've seen this so many times, the teens will be applying and the local disappears. Or the teen says they're hired and they show up and the person ain't home. Like, oh, I forgot. And then 3 weeks go by and this job never gets filled. It happens time and time again. If you're hiring a teen, give it the respect it deserves. Give them the respect they deserve. They're not fourth-rate citizens. And that's what's happening here. They're being treated like this. If you have a complaint, send it now. Don't send it later. Kimberly Pim, same here multiple times. I'm going to show you guys this. This is hilarious. Okay? Right here. Let's see, what was her name? Kimberly? Let's make sure I spell it. Kimberly Peak. Okay. See, our great goofy little messenger. I'm horrible at names, by the way. Peak with an E. There. Nothing. If I put in all the Kimberlys, nothing. See, if I put in like Natasha, there she is. And that came up. But we've never had a Kimberly messages. We've never had, well, that's an April Pollack, but not April Olsen. These people are complaining, but won't do rule 1. The first rule, the very first one you see, message the group. All you gotta do is message that. And what do we get? Not that. But instead, messaging us and addressing the issue, which could take 5 seconds, they come in here and rah. And you know what we do? Out the door you go. Because you're not one to read, you're not one to watch videos, you're not one to help. So yeah, if you want to embarrass yourself, I will gladly help you right here. This can be avoided. Nina said this best. Things will pick up when they're out of school. Finals and graduation and taking up their time now. Absolutely. Yes, you can post jobs, but that's no guarantee that you're going to get the masses of kids. You might get some homeschoolers. Some of these homeschoolers already have jobs. Micah's a great example. It's okay if jobs are not being filled right now. If they do, great. If not, I'd rather see the kids finishing up graduation, finishing up school, and then focusing. But if they have time, come in here. Let's help you on your job post. That way you have a transition period of going from school to working during the summer. You know, the way it's not a crash course. It's nice and smooth and simple. That's why we're here to help you. But for some reason, people just want to make attitudes. That's not allowed here at all. That's where rule two comes in. Etiquette. You know, being polite, being respectful, stuff like that. This, And so I told my admins to leave that stuff because I wanted to show that to you guys. That's not welcome. Which brings me to one of my favorites here. Where is she at? I'll have to do a search on her because I know she's in here. Search by most recent. Yep, there it is. Now this is a former moderator. Where are you at? I know she's in here. Here we go. I think this is the one. There we go. Christine Lee is a former Alaska Teens for Hire moderator doing the same job that us admins do. You know, screening posts, screening members, stuff like that. So she has experience with our system. She knows all the problem people we deal with. What's this? Would it be helpful if this... Now, this is Shelby. Shelby's somebody new. Would it be helpful if this group didn't do months-long shutdowns? We usually need assistance year-round for that teens can help with. Well, obviously, Shelby didn't watch the first video or has not been around that long because only from Christmas going forward have we ever done any pauses. Ever. And we've been doing this for nearly a decade. So to come in with this attitude is ridiculous. You know, we've worked through holidays, we've worked through birthdays and everything else. Like, we've done it all. And this is not work, this is volunteer. So that is taking us for granted. And that is just shameful. And I address that here. It's like you say, like, we've been doing this all the time. In nearly 10 years, we paused 3 months because there was no jobs due to no snow. And there wasn't. It was a warm summer. You guys know that. Even when there was snow, it was there for a day or two. That's not enough for a job. There was no snow jobs. And then 2 weeks during Christmas, the kids needed a break. We needed a break. We just paused the groups. And the thing is, at the time, there wasn't a lot of jobs being posted because it was a warm winter. It was a great time to pause it. If you guys say you have all this stuff that he's done, wait until it's done, make a pause, or hire an adult. Teens for Hire is not your everything. Teens for Hire could be helpful year-round, regardless if there's no snow. Kids are not slave labor. They have lives. They need to learn about work and life balance at the same time. You know, they're not going to work Christmas Day. We refuse to let them. Go enjoy times with your families. Matter of fact, Shelby, go enjoy time with your family on Christmas Day. And then here's Christine. Like I said, Christine is a moderator. She was. Okay. No jobs like at all. Nobody needed babysitting or help moving stuff because my kids got plenty of jobs from neighbors doing all of that while this group was administratively deactivated. Good use of big words. You know, kids, you can learn something from that. But we've addressed this already. One, there was no snow no snow because it was warm weather. Two, the babysitting jobs that we got were garbage. Kids are being paid $1 to $3 an hour. And I'm not exaggerating on this. It came to between $1 and $3 an hour that stuff we would never approve. So if you're letting your kids work for $3 an hour, shame on you. If you're letting for $1 an hour, shame on you. But at the same time, though, if your neighbors are actually hiring them, they're probably not in Teens for Hire. Invite them over. Let's get them on here, get them taught, get them posting those neighborhood jobs. And here, I've managed Facebook groups before and totally get what you're saying about needing breaks. My comment was solely based off the statement there was no snow and there's no jobs. You understand. But you're still coming in with this. Come on.
And Louis said, this is correct. There was little to no snow. Someone was posting snow jobs. Alaska is a very climate dependent state, location, community. You know, when it's warm during the summer and dry, then there's going to be lawn mowing jobs. But if it's going to be a rainy summer all day long, there's not a lot of lawn mowing jobs, because all it's going to do is it's going to be constantly wet and the grass is going to grow quick and it's going to destroy lawnmowers. So not every kid has the equipment to do that. You know, not every kid's going to be working out in the rain, you know, picking up your stuff in your yard. You know, the parents are not going to let them. They don't want their kids getting sick. Rightfully so. At the same time, if there's no snow, there's nothing to shovel. It's common sense 101, guys. And the fact that you've managed groups and you get about needing breaks 1 to 2 times in 10 years, that's pretty good. Give this credit where it was due. But I'm gonna go back into your messenger, and this is what I was talking about, some like the job situation. Where is she at? Here we go. So this is another former moderator, okay, and she was just all kinds of backwards on this. And here, let's see if I can find it right here. Because she posted just all sorts of wrong. Here it is. I have had 4 jobs over the last 2 months that were teen acceptable, inside 2 babysitting, 1 sorting clothes. Let me scroll up here just a second. There, you guys can read everything. And 1 doing sticker mailing that haven't been offered. Why not? You sat on 4 jobs and didn't post them, and you wonder why we didn't have any jobs during that time period. If this stuff was posted, there would have been jobs for the kids to apply for. But she never posted them. 4 of them. And I think your team has made a mistake now because teens haven't had access to jobs because no jobs have been offered. It's your own fault. You didn't post the jobs. Kids can't apply for them. Cause effect. And then here, I went through. It's like, you've had 4 jobs in the last 2 months. And the last time she posted a job, and that's why we ripped the screenshot here, was August 17th. From August to December, she never posted it. And from December to now May, she still never posted. Let's see, when was this posted? February. So from December to February. So August to February, that's what, 6 months? She did not post a job, but she's blaming us. She's a local now. It's your responsibility to post the job. Common sense 101. I couldn't post due to the groups being on hold. The groups were not on hold from August to December, and she could have posted that. And she never did. From December during Christmas, you're not going to get kids, so quit trying to blame that. And even then, from January to mid-February, that's 6 weeks she could have posted and still didn't. And I even told her that group only got paused recently, so you still don't have an excuse. And then she's always paused the holidays. And she posted our job back. I was like, yeah, we posted during the holidays. And it's like, we'll see y'all in 2025. So from December 22nd to January 3rd, the kids are going to be out doing the holiday season. And it's like, they should be working during the Christmas, and neither should admins. Are we not letting the teens and their parents make decisions about when they should work? Not during Christmas. Come on. She's so greedy. It's like, can you not have consideration for these kids and tell them to go home and enjoy your family? Like, you work 330 days a year. You can't take a few for your family? Spend some time with mom, dad, brother, sister, aunts, uncles, whatever. And she's saying, you cost the teens opportunities that they could have taken while not in school. You could have posted the jobs that some kids could have done. And she didn't. But I see my feedback isn't welcome. Not on this one. This was terrible feedback. And the thing is, we've seen this time and time again where people will say they want to blame the group, but they don't want to post a job. And say, if you're not wanting to post a job, why are you here? You're not helping anybody. Like I said, like, if people want to embarrass themselves, I'm going to help you. And that's what we're doing today. Oh, where's some more? Let's go back to Anchorage. Go back to Anchorage. Where's Jessica? And some of these are not embarrassing. Some of these are just some simple mistakes. But the thing is, it's great lessons to learn. So, like right here, this is one we've said 1,000 times over. I would like to hire her, which is great, but I will private message you. How many times are you guys getting tired of hearing this one? Where we tell you don't do it and you guys still keep doing it? It's literally one of the main rules of this group. I'll message you my address and exact time and I'll just start working outside tomorrow. But here's the thing, Alicia, come on. You say no. I will message you. Since I am technically representing the teenager, I will be the initiator. If you represent your daughter, represent her right. Oh, this one's gonna be fun too. Let's go to Kristen. Yep, and this one here. We're going back to this post because this one's always the fun one. My son's looking forward to opportunities to make money. He wants to raise funds for college auditions. I haven't seen the opportunities lately, but I'll make a point of checking him more for great. Outstanding, Emily. Love to have you. But Kristen, I'm in South Anchorage South Anchorage also. It's not fun, but I need someone to pull weeds, okay? Post the job. We just had the same thing with Aaron. Post the job. But you know what's not there? A job from Kristen. You can't sit there and tease kids like they got a carrot. And it's like, come, here's the job. Come on. No, that's disrespectful. Kids are not your little puppies. Treat them respectfully. Post the job so they can apply for it. Let's go over Cheeky Egg for a minute. Where are you? I know you're in here. Melissa. We've had tons and tons and tons of issues with this lady here. Because this lady will do everything but follow a rule. Is there any way that we can have a different set of rules for those children who don't have cell phones or social media? You are on a social media program with a social media group, and you're saying that we need a whole different... You guys complain that there's too many rules as is. And you want a whole different set of rules. Here's the rule. Sit your kid down on your account, supervise them, and have them apply. It's that simple. We've never asked them to have cell phones. So they shouldn't be calling, texting, stuff like that. They can say, do like I am right here. I'm at a computer. Kid can be here, parent can be right here. And hey, let's go check this job out. What do you think? It's the same rule constantly. You guys are just choosing not to do it. But this new process makes it really hard for them. The process has never changed. It's been the same thing for nearly a decade. You guys have been choosing not to do it. We're just trying to find ways to make you do it. And now you guys are getting to the point where you're running out of excuses. You're running out of methods to bypass the system because we keep closing all the doors. And now you're to the correct way to begin with, as people have demonstrated. And it works very, very effectively. Quit trying to think of every way not to do something. You're not Thomas Edison. And just do it right the first time. We do not allow social media. Then why is your kid applying for a Facebook employment program? If you're not going to let them use your account and you supervise them, why are they in here? One child doesn't have internet access with their phone. That's on you. And that's your choice. There's goods and bads of that. And there's pros and cons. And you got to weigh that. But the thing is if you want to use Teens for Hire, you're going to have to use Facebook. The kid's going to have to use Facebook. And you should be involved in supervising it. Until you're comfortable letting them do it on their own. It's one set of rules. For everybody. Once these kids turn 16, 17, 18, they start making teen businesses, we hope like hell that parents are still involved.
A lot of times they don't, but there's still parents that still supervise, and that is amazing because the kids are not ready to be completely on their own. But the option is still there for you guys. You know, as a parent, the best advice I tell people is to consider yourself like a manager or a mentor. You know, you're not there to boss them around and control everything, but you're there to guide. You know, like the world is this big and you're closing it down to this. And you're telling them, like, you're going to make mistakes, but it's okay here to learn from those mistakes. You don't want them to succeed at everything, otherwise they never learn. Let them make mistakes. It's okay. But as long as you're there, you're supervising, you're making sure that they're not doing stuff wrong. Or, you know, illegal. I'll use that better. Not doing stuff illegal. Then you're doing your job as a parent. That's all you can ask for. You know, and that's where we go back to, if you have questions or need help, rule number one, we'll keep an eye on your kid if we have to. Because we do that with everybody. And if something's wrong, we're going to delete it. We're going to take it down. You know, and if kids are getting out of control, we'll throw suspensions up. Suspensions are not meant to be punishing. The thing about suspensions is to get you guys to stop breaking bad habits. You know, it's kind of a wake-up call. Hey, you're doing something wrong. Message us. Okay, apparently I've made 3 mistakes. My stuff's been deleted and I got suspended. What's going on? All right, here's what you need to know. Okay, let's fix it. We can get you unsuspended. But if you come in with this attitude, we'll let you ride the timeout. If you even get to that point, we might even kick you out because you're coming in with all this negative attitude. And if you're going to have negative attitude to us, we can only imagine what you're going to do to the kids. And we have seen some nasty adults with the kids. God, my kicking list is long and extensive because of just nasty adults. I can't speak for the admin, but I know someone without social media access who applies for jobs using their parents' account and their phone. I think the intention is for teens to gain experience by writing the application themselves and to communicate with their employer. Thank you, Seth. I don't know you, but I love you already. I couldn't have put it any better. But then look, which I totally get, but since everything has to be done in front of the admin, it can take a day or two to line up a job. You have 5 or 6 of us, and we're usually right on top of things. Nothing goes a day or two. If it goes a day or two, it's because we're tagging you or messaging you and you're not replying. Our turnaround time is amazing. I've got plenty of groups I go to, I don't hear back from a week. Ours, maybe a couple hours tops. You know, most of us are OCD and we don't like stuff sitting in the pending, but I'm going to show you that in a minute. I deliberately left stuff in pending so you guys can see. It's super frustrating, and this is why people are moving to the other page on Facebook. And it doesn't require anybody to jump through hoops and get simple tasks accomplished. Let's talk about that for a second. So I pulled up another group, and this is over in Wasilla. It's called Now Hiring Wasilla. I'm going to show you just some of the jobs that are coming around here. Okay, this is a job posted by Anonymous. Now, first thing first, how many of you parents are going to let your kids go work for Anonymous? I guarantee you not one parent's going to raise their hand. ISO. You're making a post. You're looking for somebody and a now hiring group. I just want to write the word duh. Someone looking for a one-time odd job doing farm work. Okay, look. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 redundant words. Or, just useless words. Okay, odd job doing farm work. Okay. Task. Task number 1. T posts to put up. $5 per post. Big area to do, easily 20 to 40 posts. Task 2. Relocate a pile of firewood and stack, covering $50. Show up, work until done, take your cash. Gateway area. Wow. Okay, so let's go through this. So I'm going to pull this down. I'm going to shove this over, and I'm going to put Matt right here, now hiring. So I'm going to go back to here and pull just a locals template. Okay. So we know what the job is. When do they want to do it? Today, tomorrow, next week, next month? When's your availability? So we don't know the when. Here, scroll. There you go. Okay. Where is it? Matsu's pretty big. Wasilla's pretty big. Where's the job? West, east, south, what? 2 questions. How many people do you need? 1, 2, 3? I mean, it's for a one-time job, but this is a lot of manual labor for one person to do, especially if they're putting in posts and if they're going to do any concrete and stuff like that. For all one person, that's insane. But if is anonymous helping? We don't know. So there's 3 questions I asked. The dollar amounts in there per one, so fine, we got the how much. Probably gonna pay upon completion. So show up, work until done, take your cash. How are you paying? Paying by cash. Okay, so you still got 3. But any extra details? Do they need to bring equipment? Do they need to bring gloves? That's 4 questions not addressed. Half of our template. 1, 2, 3, 4. They answered 4 out of 8. And this is what's in the other groups? Are you kidding me? Let's see here. But if you look in here, a lot of these are adults. But this is where they want the kids to go. This isn't kid appropriate. Not even close. I don't know. Like, look here. Here's another one. The Valley Cinema. We are hiring. Apply today at this website. Okay? And it says we're hiring full-time, part-time, flexible hours. Here's what it tells you nothing. Just we're hiring. Not even what positions they're hiring for. But just for giggles, let's pull up their employment. So, anybody want to hire or apply to the movie theater? These are these other groups that you guys are talking about. They're not managed. They're not admin. They're not child appropriate. But you guys are biting the hand that feeds, the one that is exclusive to age 19 and under. No adults allowed to apply. And on top of that, we go through and you see like our jobs are very, very detailed to where you don't ask these questions. You don't have to. Even like when a business posts, one of the most popular questions that happens all the time is minimum age required. Is it 14, 16, 17, 18, 19? And every time a job gets posted by a business, the first question we see it 25 times in a row. What's the minimum age? What's the minimum age? We have that right there. See, you don't have to ask that question. You already know. So much work goes into these job posts to make sure that kids have as much information in front of them so they can sit down, talk with their parents, and have a conversation. So when it comes to the interview, if you have extra questions, go for it. It's welcomed. But if you don't, you have enough to make an educated decision. You don't have to call, email, asking, where's the job? Where's that? This is the stuff we're talking about, guys. And they're all over the place. Everybody that wants to pretend to be like us, and all you're getting is a bunch of adults with a bunch of bad jobs. So, putting it bluntly, going back to you here, if you want to go to another page on Facebook, be my guest. Matter of fact, there is one that's pretend to be us, and all they did was copy our old template. Just copy that. Let me scroll down here for a second so you can see everything. There you go. They copied that part there. Basically, what we used almost a decade ago. But here's the thing. The person that runs that, they're not even here. Matter of fact, we looked into them. They're out of the country over half the year. So if your kid has a problem, they're SOL. There's no help for them. So if they get on a job site and they've been working for 12 hours and the adult doesn't want to pay them, oh well, you're on your own. You're accepting so much, I don't even know the words to use at this point, but those groups are dangerous. They're dangerous, they're foolish, and we get so many times a year that somebody will go take a job on their post, their kid will get taken advantage of, and then the parent will message us and ask us to fix it. Obviously, we can't fix it because it's not our job post. And this is what we do. It's like, well, first of all, you quit that job and you leave. you come in teams for hire and you start taking those jobs, the ones that are managed and supervised by us. That way we deal with these locals, we communicate with them, and has over like a 90+% success rate of kids being taken care of. As long as the kid does the job and the adult, make sure the job gets done and the kid gets paid, things go great. On top of that, we're always keeping our eyes out for those people committing illegal acts against kids. We're always on top of this. We got people in the community that are on top of this, help us out in case we miss stuff. You have eyes on your kids to make sure they're safe as best as possible. And say if something does happen, then we have so much evidence that we can literally rip the screenshots, build a folder, put it all in there, and submit it to the authorities to where we can get them taken care of. We get them out of the groups and we get them off the streets. You don't have anything else in the country that does that. We're involved. Why would you attack that? Baffles me. Especially when you get somebody like Becca here that is twin 13-year-old boys. Child trafficking is a thing. It's very much a thing. But we make sure that there's stuff to protect them. So if somebody posts a lawn mowing job like they're looking for, we've screened that local to know enough that they're somebody that should be safe. There's no guarantees in life, but we've reduced the risk as much as possible. But like Luis said right here, all these boys got to do is make a teens template post. We're twin 13-year-old boys looking to do lawn mowing. Boom. Say if a lawn mowing job comes up and nobody's applied for it yet, I can tag them and say, hey guys, here's a lawn mowing job if you're interested. We've covered both. We got the locals and the teens, but they're not using it. They're not using the system. They're hurting themselves. Becca, sit your boys down. Have them make a teens template post. If they need help with it, message me. I have helped so many kids with their posts. You write something first. Have them write something. Put something down. And then over Messenger in here, and I've showed you guys our Messenger right here. If you message me, I will sit down with and go through line by line and help your kids improve their posts and make it the best that we can. All right, it's been over an hour, and I think I've kind of embarrassed enough people enough that to know to show you guys that we're not doing stuff just to hurt feelings. We're not doing stuff just to be the bad guys. We're trying to help you guys. We're trying to create opportunities only for a certain demographic, and that's the kids. You guys are locals, and if you notice, out of this whole hour, we never complained about a kid. I would expect the kids to be having bad wording and stuff like that, or disrespect. We've had plenty of that. But this season, it's all these certain adults. And we've demonstrated that people that sit down, take time, read, and communicate, put up some amazing content. But those people that take shortcuts, people that whine, complain, people that don't use the system and just pop in and just rant, we don't need you. Either get on board or get out. I could easily, set the settings and we could have 50,000 members. But we deliberately only have a couple thousand for a specific reason. Because we screen people and kick them out because they're not deserving to be here. If you're still here, it's because we're trying to give you a chance. You're a local. You are a potential employer for the kids in the community. You're accepting the responsibility of teaching them the skills, whether it be applying for a job or how to actually do the job, whether it be like lawnmower, whatever, that's going to set them up for success in life. This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme for kids, and it's damn sure not try to take advantage of kids scheme either. Even though kids typically get paid less than adults because these kids don't have licenses, insurances, and all that stuff. They're just kids jumping out there and getting their start. They get paid less, but they have less experience. It's a ratio. As you get more experience, you get licensed, bonded, insured, you bring your wages up, your rates up because you have more expenses to cover. That's business. If you look at everything I've said, everything relates to the real world business. Applying for a job, interviewing for a job, the back and forth communications, using your words. You don't have employers that go rah 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 all the time. That's why we noticed there was no businesses doing that either. It was just random locals. So, kids, I want you to learn from this. There's a story that I like to tell, and I'm not going to tell it here, but I'm going to tell the meat and potatoes of it. And that is, over time, communities change. Like let's say if there's like a racist situation, the community's not going to stay racist forever. It's going to grow out of it. And the reason why is because the younger generation will see the faults of the older generation and say, I don't want to be that. I don't want that in my life. I don't want that growing up around me. And the more you kids see the mistakes that adults are making and learn from them, the better the communities will be. Look at the way the world is now. We have a lot of adults, not just in Alaska, but around the country that are making a lot of bad mistakes. Learn from them and make the world better. Make Alaska better, make your community better. It starts at you. And the best way you can do that is to get educated. And I'm not saying educated is like go to school and stuff like that. There's a difference between book smarts and street smarts. And a lot of what we teach in Teens for Hire is what's called street smarts. Stuff that's going to teach you the skills to function in life. It's great if you have both book smarts and street smarts. Being good in school and being good in business. But not everybody is that. That's fine. Some people don't do well in school, and they do. Some people don't do well on Teens for Hire stuff. But get smart at something. Get good at it. And the last part I'm going to put with this is if you want positivity in life, if you want goodness in your life, surround yourself with good culture around you, good people, good experiences. Like these people here that are going there going rah, 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 you don't need those in your life. They're not being positive to you. They're not helping you. Those people that are good, like for example, like Darcy, who asked the questions and interviewed and stuff like that. That is a great experience. That is somebody to go back and work for again and again and again. They're going to teach you things. They're going to set you up for success in life. As a kid, that should be your primary focus right now. Getting experience, learning how to do things right. So that way, when you turn 19, 18, 19, and you either go to school, you go to work, you go into a trade, you go in the military, whatever, you will be the very best of you that you can be. That's what I want to see out of you. If it comes Christmas time, you understand the importance of taking like Christmas off to spend time with your family because family's important there. And you should not dismiss your family because you're going to go make a couple extra bucks. You may come to find a day where you go to do that and you come home and your family ain't there. A lot of divorces end because people get greedy. You work hard, whether it's school, Teens for Hire, appreciate the good moments that you get to. And that's something we very much like to teach. If those people want to complain, let them complain. They're either going to turn around and put the jobs up right, or they're going to get out and go put them in now hiring with Scylla and roll the dice and see who they get. But you're only in Teens for Hire for so long. Once you turn after 19, because it's 19 and over. So once you turn 20, you're done. You go from being a teen to being a local. And by that time, we've hoped that we give you as many resources as we can. Whether it be the Teens for Hire stuff, or as I'm sure many of you guys noticed this week, where go by 2 minutes. Which one you get? 2 gig, I'll have it. Where's our friends at? Go away.
Search. Bring up the home page. There you go. Where's our here? Alaska Works Partnership. There is so many resources here. It's not even funny. I mean, look at this. You know, our heavy and light duty mechanics and heavy equipment operating training schedules are officially live. If you've been dreaming of getting your hands on machines or engines or operating heavy machinery, turn that passion into a rewarding career. Now's your chance. Head over here. Here's the class. Now I'm going to pull up something that you guys don't get to see. I'm slip my email over here for a second. Come on. And it's Alaska Works. Where's she at? Gina. Here we go. Here, all right. So close, and we'll slip this over here. All right. So this is an email from one of the people that works at Alaska Works. Okay. And I'm gonna start at the very top here. So let me grab my little thing. And I'll slide me over. There we go. Okay. So think about Alaska Works. As high school seniors prepare to graduate this May, many are asking what comes next. For those unsure about the traditional college route, there's another option worth serious consideration: a career in the skilled trades. Now, this is a story that I tell everybody, and I'm going to tell it right now. When I was this age, 16, 17, 18, 19, there were three options: go to college, go to school, or go in the military. That was it. They're offering a fourth option. Go to college, go to work, or go in the military. And many, because like I grew up in central Nebraska, and many of those kids went to work, like on the family farms and stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, there's only three options. And here they're saying there's a fourth one. And that's going into the trades. Now, the reason why this is relevant is because during my time when there was only those three options, we didn't know a lot about trade schools, learning about plumbers, electricians, and stuff like that. And so after all these years of the memorandum, the media out there basically saying there's only three, all these plumbers and electricians that were in these jobs, they got older. They went from 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old, and they start retiring. Well, the problem is because nobody that was 18, 19 years old graduating high school was going in there to learn about electricians and stuff like that. The supply of these trades went down because people were retiring, but there was nobody new coming in to take over. So there was just no supply. But the demand is always there. We always need electricians, plumbers, carpenters, stuff like that. But there was nobody new coming in to start these new businesses and be in these trades to do these jobs. And so what they found in the past, say 10 years or so, they had a shortage of all of these construction people, carpenters, electricians. Unless you're like your family did it, most people that came out of high school didn't think about that. They need to reach new kids and bring new supply in. So that's where Alaska Works got their funding, was to create opportunities for kids that don't think about going into the trades. See, why more young Alaskans are considering the trades? One, no student debt. Most apprenticeships offer a tuition-free and offer paid training. The only time you see something like that is in the military. Seriously. We're going to pay you to go learn this skill. Great. Jobs are in demand. Yes, trade jobs are all... I don't know how many times somebody picks up the phone and they're doing a Google. It's like, I need a plumber. And there's like maybe a couple. But you could be the next one. It is low supply, high demand. Journeyman tradespeople earn $40 to $68 an hour depending on the field. And it could be lower than that. It could be higher than that. But you're always going to earn good money. Because you're going to work, consistent hours. You're going to do projects. You're probably going to have overtime. Like, I never met somebody that didn't have overtime in these trades.
Real world skills. Learn by doing and start earning while you learn. Let's take an electrician for example. Yes, you may learn to be an electrician on the job. What's to stop you from coming home and rewiring your house? Or maybe you want to add some lights in there, or move, put outlets on a new wall so you can move your TV over there. Instead of hiring an electrician to do it, you can do the work yourself and save yourself thousands. Carpenters, maybe you want to change a room and make it two. Maybe you want to make a room bigger, knock out a wall and make it bigger. Maybe you want to redo the kitchen. Instead of spending tens of thousands of dollars doing it, you can do the work yourself. You will save so much money from the skill sets of that. It's insane. Like, I wish I had this when I was a kid. Even though I wouldn't have become like a carpenter, I still would have learned the skills to where I could remodel my own house. Gen Z is leading the shift. Now, this is just kind of something I don't really care for. I don't care what generation is there. It should be somebody experienced, somebody knowledgeable, somebody that's willing to teach it. So that whole gen, whatever, throw that crap out. This is the big statement right here. Alaska Work Partnerships offer free hands-on training for Alaskans 16 plus in carpentry, welding, electrical, plumbing, and more. Classes available in Anchorage, Fairbanks, and the Mat-Su. So, doesn't matter which community you're in, they're still there. And they're constantly going on. The classes are constantly rotating. We post them. We have them post every month. They're free. If there's something you might be interested in, but you don't know if you want to do it or not, go take a class. It's like a week long. You try it. If you like it, go into it farther. If you don't, go try something else. You never know until you try. You may come to learn after 2 or 3 classes that the trades are not for you, and that's perfectly okay. But you learn something about yourself. You learn something about the world, like having a skill set. Like during that 1 week carpentry class, I learned this, or electrical, I learned that. You learn something. The value of that experience is just the fact that it's free. I'm at a loss for words, guys. Really. I seriously can't believe that, when these classes pop up, that they're not full instantly. You guys are being given the keys of the kingdom. And all you gotta do is just ask the questions. Can I this? Can I that? And what makes them even better is they actually have a program called Women in the Trades that specifically targets women. So some of you girls out there that want to get into the trade schools, they got a program for that too. Everything's covered. As long as you're, in the minor ages, 19 and under. That's why a lot of our Teens for Hire stuff is that. Just talk to them. That's why, like, our Rule 1 exists. If you have questions, ask. It's okay to ask. That's why if he does, look, take the first step. Start your journey. Click the button. Basically, talk to us. Start your journey to talk to us. Just reading it right there. Take the first step. It's like Teens for Hire. Take the first step. Talk to us. I just demonstrated how Teens for Hire is literally related to real world right here. And look right here. In Anchorage, women in training, electrical wiring. So it's just going to be women. And the weekends and evenings. So June 14th to the 20th, so about a week, you're going to learn electrical wiring with just women. So that way, if you're not comfortable with, working with a bunch of guys, that's okay. That's what this program's around. And if you notice, Saturday and Sunday is, during the day, but Monday through Friday is in the evenings. Because they're considering taking, maybe you have school or maybe you have a day job. They're considering on all this. Mat-Su, heavy and light duty mechanics, heavy equipment operating. And there's nothing stopping you guys. Like, say if a class comes up and you want to go take in the Mat-Su, ask. If they've got the slots, because they're going to prioritize that community first. Because there'll always be like Anchorage heavy duty or heavy and light duty mechanics. It just won't be during August 11th, to the 15th. But say if there is slots in the Mat-Su and you're in Anchorage, they might make an exception. But you don't know until you ask. Look right here, information seminars. Visit your job center and to collect on or to connect with an Alaska Works representative. And the thing is, we have our contacts too, so we can always message them, have them contact you. We're a bridge between them, between Alaska Works and the teens. So if you have questions, message us. I'll gladly send the message. You will never ever hear me tell you no on that. There's their address. Boom, boom, boom. And the thing is, things have deadlines. Where applications are accepted year round. Currently accepted applications on heat and frost insulators. Wiremen, iron workers, laborers, operating engineers for heavy equipment, painters, drywall, finishers, pile drivers, plasterers. I mean, this goes on and on and on. And that's just the stuff that's available right now. Plumbers and pipe fitters and steam fitters. And this is just from April to June, July. It's constantly going on, stuff coming through. These are the opportunities that we try to bring to you guys. You don't see in any other groups. So quit trying to destroy Teens for Hire to sever the connections that these opportunities can bring to your kids. Somebody said earlier that my feedback wasn't appreciated. And that's why Rule 1 exists. If you have feedback or if you have opinions or if you have ideas, message us. Message the page. Don't put in replies. You're not going to get good responses in the replies. Message the page. And don't start with a bunch of drama either. Don't come with attitude. Just message the page. Hey, I've got an idea. And it'll be a good idea maybe we implement, or maybe it's a bad idea and I can explain why. Or maybe it's just a terrible idea and we're just not going to waste any time on it. Like the whole making a whole other set of rules. We're not going to make a whole other set of rules. I'm sorry. I can't have 7 sets of rules for people. I mean, you guys don't even read the disclaimers on each template. But we will listen, as long as you bring in the proper etiquette. You want to be heard properly, come respectful. We'll hear you. We'll respond back. We'll have a conversation. If you guys need help, ask. Rule 1, rule 1, rule 1, rule 1. That's why I think one person said they know how to message the page. It's right there. Rule 1. If you need assistance, message our main page. Just, you filled in the extra details. Just go, maybe half an inch slower? It's right there. Read these. Because look, it really tells you. Interview the team, make a decision. All these questions you guys have are right here. We wrote them there so you guys wouldn't have questions. Step by step by step. Without holding your hand and doing the job post myself, I don't know how to make it any easier, guys. I'm not going to delete the rules. I'm not going to, make the kids vulnerable. I've said this before. I would rather tear down and shut down Teens for Hire than to ever make, the groups more dangerous, than to ever be part of the problem. We're trying to be part of the solution. If you want to help, we're willing to hear you. If you just want to be part of the drama, there's the door. We have, I'm going to say the next 2 weeks, kids are transitioning out of school. I hope this video is the last that we hear of the dramas, because it's not welcome. And, actually, what? I almost forgot. We mentioned the pendings. So I'm going to bring up Anchorage again. Member request. Posted about an hour ago. Now look right here. Teen looking to be hired. I own 3 food truck and on all the food concessions on the Sullivan Arena. I'm always looking for more workers. Use this template when you're posting. She knows how to read. I love this woman to death already. I haven't even gotten started, but this is somebody that is going to read the rules. They're going to post up. They're going to ask questions. They're going to be involved. Brandy, I got none but love and respect for you. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to prove that right now. Let's go to Chugiak. Here we got 2 member requests. And here we have one from Christy Dalbarn. Now, I have not seen these yet. You're going to see them at the same time. This is all going on live. This is a parent. I have a 15-year-old son looking to make extra money to made summer 25. Posting jobs correctly, and I agree. Okay, so we got a parent. Okay, so we might want to keep an eye out for that one. So we'll remember that. Say if Christy needs help. So we'll prove that. But look right here. 18 hours ago. Didn't answer the questions. Did not agree to the group rules or from the admin. So basically, all they did was they clicked on the group, probably clicked join, and then just backed away. Now, what we do is we give 24 hours because sometimes Facebook can be goofy, and the responses might come in later, and it does happen. The longest we've had is about 20 hours and 30 minutes before responses come in. So we give 24 hours. But you see here, we're not ignoring it. We're just monitoring and waiting. So let's go over to the favorite Matsu. Here we go. 8 members. And now if you look here, look at this. Invited by. Invited by. Invited by. Invited by. Invited by. Invited by. There's a reason why we tell people, like, if you're going to invite people, reach out to them. So go back to this first one. Amory, invited by Tava Taylor. Tava, contact Amory and say, hey, I invited you to a group. Here's everything you need to know. Amory, I'm guarantee is not going to go read. She's going to go in there and click join, fill in the 3 questions. That's it. But she's not going to read because she's not coming in with the intentions of what this group is. You should be explaining to her, like, I've got this special group and here's the special rules you need to know. Communicate that out. Share it. Talk to each other. But look what she did. She went and she invited like 6, 7, 8 people. And they're never going to. So, but that's only been 13 minutes, so we're going to give it some time. Here we go. 26 minutes. A teen looking to be hired. All right. What's your purpose? To see what jobs are available and add job listings. Yes. She's looking at it from the locals' perspective and the teen's perspective. Posting jobs, correct. Flee! Come on. Could have been typo. It happens. But she agreed to follow the rules, because that's what she says. I agree. And if she doesn't, then... But here's the thing. Look right here. Studying nurse education at Matsu CNA. So before we click agree, we need to make sure that this is actually a team. So my team is going to go through, look up Laura, and see, are you a teen or are you 20 and plus? Like I said, we do our homework here. Dyson Tuck requested. They're saying they're a teen. They want to find a job. They agree. And we'll check this one out too. Richard, invited by Anna. Look, nothing, an hour ago. Maybe they're at work, don't know, but we'll give it 24 hours. See what happens. Oh, look at this. Melanie Kai lives in Albany, New Zealand from Paia, Hawaii. Guess who's probably not getting in teens for hire? But, we'll wait and we'll see what happens. But look here at the groups. Something, I'm not, catamarans. They got the far north district, but these are not, a lot of these ain't Alaskans, so she probably don't even need to be here. John Simpson invited by Cassie Simpson. But look, she probably invited her husband and he's probably at work, but that was 5 hours ago. We'll give it 24. Natalie invited by Nikki Dermott. 6 hours, nothing. I'm not going to pronounce that because I'll butcher that. And I've recognized that name. I think they've been here before or they applied before. But look, no answer in 6 months or in 6 hours. So we're always monitoring. We're always watching. But look right there. We have a pending post. Yay! Cheryl. Hi, Cheryl. This is back from the 11th. But here's the thing. All this is an edit. Okay, this is not a new job. Because look, she put teen hired work pending. She's giving us an update. Outstanding. Now, I wish she'd have put down here the job. But at least she made an effort. We give the B- for effort. But look right here. This post has been edited. And we got the edit history where we can see all this. See? So today at 6:21, so that was about 35 minutes ago, she made that change to go from this to this. So we're watching all this. And so because we know that, we'll give it approval. Just double check, go back in here, check, there's nothing in there. And go back to Anchorage and nothing there. So all the posts have been addressed, all the member requests have been addressed. And we do this constantly. And that's where our Discord comes in. And yes, we actually use a Discord. Let me slide me back over. Ooh,
And I'm literally giving you guys a lot of the stuff that we don't show you guys. There you go. And we have groups where we track all this stuff. Anchorage and so forth. Like Christine, one of our admins thinks she needs to go because of this right here. The group's been shut down for months and very slow, and she's just constantly just ran around it. She could message this. She was a moderator, but it's not her first violations of this. She's wanting to start drama, and she's giving her the benefit of the doubt time and time again, and she's still refusing. So there's a good chance that Christine might get booted. But we're gonna talk about it, and we'll address that situation. But we have for where is it? Where is that channel? Is this one? No. Bans and suspensions. So people get banned, people get sent. We track all that. The community, the date, the time, all that kind of stuff, the reasons. And if you guys want to see some of the stuff that, we've dealt with, like just the craziness. Here, this was he took somebody else's post, ripped it, did weird stuff to it. Look, deleted a bunch of stuff out, posted it, and then asked the question, where do I find the template to hire someone? Well, obviously you found something, but you didn't read the group of all the stuff all the stuff's in the featured. But that's okay. We helped them out. Somebody named themselves Mama Bear, Mama Bear. Would any adult let your kid go work for Mama Bear, Mama Bear? Just come on. You're not, you may be 50, but don't act 12. Put something more professional up there. Look, somebody put in there, contact, here's my phone number. And if you want to share it, I'll gladly embarrass you. Just, how do I get to the page? It's like the page you just joined. Oh, here's another one of my favorites. They went through all this work and never put what the job was. Look at that, job blank. They skipped the very first item. Rudy, I'm a parent of a teen and I'm looking for work to pay rent. You're in a Teens for Hire program. Come on, man. Just slide that up for a second. I don't know. There you go. You're a parent. You're looking forward to pay rent. I'm not going to give you teen jobs. Sorry, dude. Come on, man. And this goes on and on and on. People using the business template when they're a local. Okay, here we go. This one was for 2 teens. They're paying $20 per teen, max of 4 hours. So for a flat $20 per kid for 4 hours of work, they wanted to hire. That is $5 an hour. Do any of you kids want to work for $5 an hour? Here's what happens when you edit the template. Look at this. All these pretty little things, and then you shove the job up here, and then you got all this extra formatting. And look right here. Whee! No. See, look. You go past all this eyesore to get to the job, and it's going to get lost. Just leave it alone. Don't put this. Nobody needs your prettiness. Oh, that reminds me. Here we go. Right. Where did I put it? No. Yes. Matsu. This was today. And yes, if you're going to embarrass your kids, I'm going to put them up there. This is what was submitted. Don't do this. Ever. This is how you get pedophiles. Normally, I would not do this. But I deleted it.
for her protection. And yes, it's going to be in this video. But I'm hoping that with one, this stops. We don't need pictures of your minors on the group. We don't need to have stranger danger going on. Look, 12 years old, limited to proper or Palmer proper preferred cash payment. And then she's doing pooper scooper odd jobs. Here's a phone number. You just literally just told every criminal how to find your kids. Like I said, I would normally not do that, but we're getting those. And that's just 2. So I am asking you, begging you guys, use some common sense for once and help us protect your kids. You know, I hope, honestly, I hope this group scares some people, or this video scares some people. I really do. I hope that it demonstrates all the hard work that the admins go through, all the problems that we go through, all the the issues, and I'm hoping that you guys find a newfound respect for what we do. I hope I never, ever, ever have to make this video ever again. I don't like doing these. I don't like embarrassing locals. I damn sure don't like putting kids out there like that. So I'm hoping for once that you guys get smart about it. Let us protect your kids and create an environment where they can work safely. I'm begging you. If we're going to keep seeing that kind of stuff, I will shut them down. I will not hesitate, not even a little bit. I will never compromise safety for money. You have my word on that. Now I'm going to wrap things up for good. Let's get ready for the summer. Kids, if you want help with your job postings, now's time. Get them posted up. That way we can help you before the big demand hits. If you have problems where you need equipment, come talk to us too. You'd be surprised how many people will donate like a lawnmower to get your kids started. People got stuff all over everywhere. They just want to see you succeed. But you got to use your words. Parents, we're trying to give you more resources to help you parent your kids and get them prepped for life. Quit fighting us on it. Quit trying to give your kids permission to do illegal stuff. Quit trying to set them up for failure. If you want them to fail, go somewhere else. You want them to succeed, come talk to us. Businesses, now's the time to get stuff posted. Don't just post your flyer, but use the business template, put the details in there, and then add your flyer. More information, the merrier. Take the extra 3 minutes to fill it out. You will not regret it, because if you just post your flyer, you're going to get 25 questions of the same thing. What's the minimum age? Let us help you. Let's get the groups, we're past the pause period. Let's make them come alive safely. And please quit harassing my admins. You guys are stressing them out and for no reasons. If you notice, everything that was there was not a good reason to stress the admins out. Take that drama elsewhere. It's not welcome. Right now it's been suspensions. I have no problem changing suspensions to booting. That way, when you reapply, you have to read the rules again. But one way or another, you're going to read if you're going to be here. Let's have a good summer. Let's have a safe summer. Let's get some kids. Let's get some new kids with some new businesses up. Let's get some kids working. Let's make some kids some money and teach them a lot of great skills. To everybody that's doing good stuff for us, thank you. I appreciate it. My admins appreciate it. Those that need some work, I hope you guys learned something from this. I'm going to say goodnight and look forward to seeing you guys in the months to come.